Good afternoon. This is Cynthia Watke. Cynthia Watke of Carians, a life transformation coach and a transformative healer. I want to talk with you and share with you some thoughts about gratitude and self-awareness today. When I was a little girl, one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite hymns in my dad's church was Count Your Many Blessings. It was a hymn that my father loved, and we didn't just sing it in the Thanksgiving season, but he actually chose that hymn quite a few times throughout the year. And I can just visualize him in my mind's eye, thinking about and watching how he led the singing and really drug out the chorus at times, keeping everyone together. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. That hymn is a very encouraging song and is truly appropriate for this time of year. Really, it's appropriate for all times of year. Please excuse my little dog. She's growling at something. Amberly, no. That's enough, little girl. Sorry about that. So next week is our Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States. My husband and I have decided to host a Thanksgiving gathering of some of our family members. Hello, Susan. Hello, Elizabeth. I'm thankful that you joined me today. My husband and I are beginning the tradition in our family to invite my children and grandchildren, those who are able to come on Saturday after Thanksgiving. We're allowing them to have all of their family gatherings, their own nuclear family and with other members, and hoping that they will come to be with us on Saturday. For many years, my parents hosted this type of family gathering. But now that my father is gone and my mother is living in assisted living, in a skilled nursing facility, of course, they are no longer able to host this kind of family gathering. Mother is very excited that we're going to be bringing her home for the day, and we'll have to work out all the logistics and details, but it is going to be a great, great blessing for her to be able to be with the family, to see many of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I'm sure that you too are looking forward to the Thanksgiving season and looking for ways and thinking about ways that you can make it meaningful. But before you do that, I'd like us to reflect today on what does gratitude do for us and for our thought processes and our view of life. Do you wake up in the morning, as I did this morning, thinking about the challenges of the day, thinking about the exciting things that are coming up? Do you wake up in the morning with fear in your heart, with trepidation? If the latter is true, perhaps it's time to begin to work on your mindset and your spirit and your thoughts about your life. Learning to be grateful for who we are, for what we've been given, for the blessings of our life, for the magnificence of actually being alive, will change how we view not only ourselves, but others around us. Now, showing that we are grateful to others or that we appreciate them does not mean that we have to be smiles all the time. But it does mean that we can acknowledge people and we can accept them for who they are, and we can perhaps show our esteem for them in small ways. There are many small ways that we can show our gratefulness and our esteem for others, such as a brief nod of the head when you're driving through your neighborhood, or putting out your hand and saying, "Hello, how are you? It's so good to see you today." A brief smile to someone as you walk through the grocery store can do wonders. I often do that and wonder what goes through people's minds, because this perfect stranger just walking by, I catch their eyes and I give them a smile. Some people just stare right past me, of course, but others respond in some way that they acknowledge that I smiled at them, and they show in their body language and in their facial expressions a little bit of appreciation. If we change our thinking to have positive and good thoughts, it actually changes the outlook we have on life and the outlook we have on ourselves. We can feel happier, we can notice others, and others will notice that our attitude is one of gratefulness, that we're more self aware, and that we are perhaps kinder and more compassionate. One of the ways that we can develop a spirit of gratitude or an attitude of gratitude is actually to journal about it. Now I know there are many people who do not like to journal, and I'm one of them. I often buy journals because I think they're so beautiful, and I have a number of them. And every once in a while, I'll bring them out, and I'll think, "Oh my goodness, I wrote several days here, and then months have gone by, and I've written nothing." So I suggested recently to someone that if you have a hard time writing things down, well, then talk to yourself. We all have our cell phones. We can use a voice memo or some other recording software and tell ourselves and speak the words of gratitude, speak the words of thoughtfulness. We can take a good look at our lives and be honest about the things that we're thankful for, the things that are really wonderful. Perhaps we write them down or we tell ourselves on our phone. And then after we've listened to it or reviewed our notes, perhaps we're going to want to work on an area that maybe needs a little bit of improvement. Another thing that we can do is realize that our human nature tends towards negativity. And at times we just want to grouch about things. My husband and I have kind of a joke about that there are just times when we just feel grouchy. If I have a bad headache, I'm definitely going to show it in my face. And at times I'm going to have just kind of a sour attitude. But when we know that we have this tendency, if we address that and actually write down the things that we don't like, the things that we feel negative about, perhaps we can reframe them and take a different look at those situations and maybe find something in the situation that actually we can be grateful for and thankful for. Taking action like this to make a life habit of being thankful can make a huge difference because we honestly don't need to sit around feeling sorry for ourselves. Having a negative attitude and being basically a sourpuss, it makes us people that nobody wants to be around. Recently, I took my phone and I realized that the timer that I could set not only a timer to get myself up in the morning, an alarm for the morning, but I could also set some other alarms. And I asked my grandson, who is very adept at all these things, how could I set an alarm for a particular point in the day where it would go off and it would actually say, take your gratitude moment. And he helped me figure out how to do that. So now, most every day, unless I shut those notifications off, my alarm goes off and it tells me, my phone says, take a gratitude moment. It helps me because it stops me right there in that moment to take a second or two to thank God, to thank someone who's around me, and say, hey, I really appreciate this, and have a spirit and an attitude of gratitude just for that moment. When I do that, I find that that spirit of gratitude extends on throughout the rest of the day. So I'd like to encourage you today, you have about a week before Thanksgiving. Work on being not only grateful for things in your life, but grateful for people in your life. Think about if you're going to get together with friends or family next week, don't just think about the food, the preparations, the cleaning the house, the straightening things up as I've already begun to do, but think about the people who are coming and how you are going to interact with them, perhaps a little differently this year than you have in the past. Think about the interactions that may happen between family members and how can you perhaps be a calming, careful, kind influence on a situation that has a possibility of turning a little bit difficult. And as we remember all of the small things in our lives and the big things, We develop a spirit of gratitude that changes who we are inside. We can work on an inside out growth, an inside out love, inside out kindness, inside out compassion. One more thing you may be thinking about for next week is what you want to buy for Black Friday. I am not a person who goes out and stands in lines all night and waits to buy some computer or some other exciting new technology or clothing that I want at some unbelievably reduced rate. I cannot imagine standing in the crowds in the middle of the night, camping out in the mall parking lot to go and buy stuff. But many people do that. And Black Friday has become a time for people to consider buying all kinds of things. So I want to tell you just a little bit before I finish that next week for Black Friday, I will be running a special on a new type of coaching program for 2020. You will have the opportunity to look at the details, to consider a 6-month or 12-month package of unlimited 20-minute coaching sessions with me. Unlimited sounds like a lot, and it could be. You could set up a time every single day to talk with me, and I would be obliged to do it. But the way it will work is that we will have a time together to get started. We will set up the things that you want to work on, that we want to work on together, and customize an approach that will work for you. And then as you work your way through the things you want to work on and the things you want to consider, you will schedule 20 minutes with me at your convenience and what works for you. And I will be working my schedule around that too. So watch for that in Tribe Cariance and in the Cynthia Watke Transformation page, Life Transformation page, being aware that you can give yourself a Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's gift on Black Friday and the following week. Again, this is Cynthia Watke, Life Transformation Coach, a transformative healer with Cariance. I look forward to speaking with you, and please know that I am so thankful and so grateful for each one of you who not only joined me today, but who listened to the replay, for each one of you who are members of Tribe Cariance, and for each one of you who are walking out the journey with love and grace and mercy and gratefulness, the journey of life, the journey of being a mother, a friend, a daughter, a family caregiver, perhaps. May God bless you, and you have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.